put your consumer hat on. How is someone going to look at a product that they've never seen before and know exactly what it does? Yours needs to show that.
Do you have a brilliant product idea but don't know where to start to get it made? Or are you looking to level up your product but afraid to take it overseas?
If so, you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Jackie.
And I'm Erin, and we are
The Sourcing Gals,
your trusted guides to everything you need to know about sourcing, manufacturing, and scaling your product overseas. Whether you are just starting out or you've been making your own product for a while, we are here to help women source products overseas without the overwhelm.
In each episode, we'll share insider tips, actionable strategies, and inspiring stories to help you source more effectively, save time, and boost your profits. Duh! We know how hard it can be to juggle the ins and outs of product development, but don't worry, we've got your back.
So grab a cup of coffee, get comfy, and let's dive into how you can grow your business,
make more money,
and turn your products into profit. Welcome to
The Sourcing Gals. Now let's get started. High five.
Hi.
Tired of paying for international wire transfers? So was I, and that's exactly why I switched to Mercury. With Mercury, I never worry about fees for domestic or USD international wires. The platform is free, super easy to use, connects seamlessly with QuickBooks, and their credit card perks are hard to beat. I can spin out new cards instantly for my team, earn 1.5% cash back on all purchases, and right now they're even offering a 2.5% cash back on any ad spend. Terms apply. So stop paying fees and start putting money back in your pocket with Mercury. Learn more and sign up today using the link in the show notes. Hello and welcome back to another episode of
The Sourcing Gals.
We have a topic today that was submitted to us from one of our listeners. I did not call her a super fan. She called herself a super fan.
I know. And I was like, we have a super fan.
I can't believe it. So a shout out to Janae.
Hey, Janae.
It was so nice to meet you. And you talked about just like being retail ready and what that looks like. And so we're going to talk today about a go-to retail strategy, not a go-to retail strategy, but our recommended way for founders to start thinking about how they're going to get into retail shops.
Yeah. And we're talking like big box retail here, right? Like stores that have a footprint, call it. You can actually go in and shop. We're not talking about direct to consumer right now.
Nope. So yeah, when we say retail, we're talking
doors
in person.
Correct.
Shop and mall.
So, I mean, a lot of founders think that getting into retail is all about the pitch, right?
Well, yeah, I think if we'd ask someone, they'd be like, yeah, I mean, I need a contact.
I need to find a buyer.
Yeah.
Right? I got to get the email. I got to get my information out there. But there are so many steps that come long before the email pitch, or should, I should say, come long before the email pitch to that buyer.
Right.
And this is something that we actually train, all of our startups, to be honest, like all of our founders, they have gone through basically our retail ready boot camp, if you want to call it that, because in a sense, any founders that are coming through the door that have aspirations of being in retail, which is kind of our MO, we want to make sure that they're launching with the potential and the structure to make it there.
Right. Because it's such a waste of money to go all the way down the path of building your prototype, and then it's not even priced appropriately to get into any of these stores.
Yeah.
What are you going to do about that?
Correct. And I think we've kind of blown a lot of our founders' minds up in a great way about the opportunity of what retail can do to the trajectory of your business, to your bottom line. People think, oh, wholesale, I'm going to lose all my profit. It's like, no, girl, you're going to get into 200, 500, thousands of doors.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not just like there's a cash thing that comes in regards to like earning potential, but then also brand exposure.
Yes.
Like if they go to a store and find your product and buy it at, let's just say Target or one of the retailers there. And guess what? Target only has maybe 3, 4, 5 styles. They're going to then hop to your website and see what else you got.
Yeah.
So it's like a dual driver. It doesn't mean that it has to be one or the other, by the way. We're not saying that if you have an e-commerce brand, you have to shut it down because you go to retail. It's
of course not.
Quite the opposite, right? Where the retail expansion is only going to help lift your e-commerce without dumping more meta ads and doing all those things.
And vice versa. we don't think that anybody should not have an e-commerce business or not have a website.
Correct.
Certainly not advocating for that.
Yeah.
You definitely need to be able to showcase your brand.
Yep.
And highlight your brand and your product. And the best place to do that's on a website. But we're talking retail, and we hit on it a little bit. But if your product is priced wrong, you're not getting there. You're not getting into retail.
Nope. It's a non-starter. It's a non-starter. And let me tell you, we'll go into it further, but the way that you price yourself, to me, makes it be a game changer for the buyer you're talking to.
Yes, yes. And this is a conversation we've had a lot with some folks. We are going to bust a myth about some of the margins that retailers are expecting and how you can prepare yourself for it. So don't just jump to outreach before doing your homework.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk first about homework. Research. So a big thing that we take founders through this in our launch program. We talk about this with founders at our intake level, to be honest, is where do you see your product? Mm-hmm.
And there's the reality of where you see it and the reality of where it actually fits. And sometimes those might not align and you might have to rejigger your thoughts based on your research. And what we mean by that is actually going and looking at the market. In retail speak, we call it competitive landscape. Mm-hmm. Competitive analysis. There's lots of different phrases for it, but literally, if you are a merchant or a buyer in a retail chain, it is part of your job to actually be out in the market and scoping your competition on a monthly basis.
Yes.
We did big comp analysis projects all the time, finding the white space, finding who you're competing against, who are the aspirational brands to make sure that you're fitting somewhere in between, right? Again, depending on the target demo that you're going after. So we believe that scouring the competition from low to high, and competition might even be the wrong word potentially, but it is people that are adjacent to your product category. The landscape, right? Understanding where you believe your product fits within that. So first you find the retailer name, the brand name. Then we want you to dig further.
You're getting to the retailer, and then you're going to look at price points.
Correct.
You're going to look not just at price points. That's where a lot of people stop. Keep going. Look at the materials. Look at the dimensions. Look at the country it was made in.
Correct.
All of those things. The bells and whistles. What does it come with? How is it packaged? Because let's say that you had a handbag and it was 100% full grain leather. And you were like, I'm going to be in Target.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just using Target as an example. You go to Target, you do your comp analysis, and everything on the floor is going to be faux leather. It's going to be PU. You don't belong there.
Yep.
Or if you do belong there, that is your dream, then you need to be changing your base material to something that fits within that market. But likely you would just take your bag and you would go to Nordstrom instead.
Correct. And I also think, as Erin said, the presentation of it, the packaging of it. I have so many pictures on my cell phone right now for a couple of our founders that I'm going to be pulling together of adjacent like products and how they're being presented. Because by the way, when you go to the buyer, if you understand their presentation requirements, which by the way are different for a Nordstrom versus a Target versus a Von Maur versus, are they pegged? Are they in what's called a PDQ, which is like a point of purchase, a little cardboard display that everything sits, lip glosses sit nicely and then they're on a shelf? Is it something that has to hang? How much retail space does your product take up? For buyers, space equals money. So if your product is, we actually worked with a client who was doing a stuffed animal of sorts, and she talked about going to retail.
Yes.
And so for her, it was the size mattered. Like the size mattered, the height mattered. Are you having to change their shelf height?
Right. Or do you go in and you see, for the stuffed animal, let's say, we were looking at the height of a Barbie versus an American Girl doll.
Yes.
We were like, okay, these are standard things that they have in their store, and they are prepared to stock these types of things.
Correct.
So then you can work backward into that packaging and ensure that it would fit with their floor set.
Yeah. And I will say that, again, not to fast forward to the pitch, but as you're researching and pulling this information together, your pitch, when you are ready, should look different to each retailer. Mm-hmm. It needs to reflect the landscape at which your product is going to fall into based on their footprint.
Sure. Use that Target versus Nordstrom example. If you have like a very high-end plush, if you're in Target, it's going to be in a box with a cellophane front. If you are in Nordstrom, it's not going to be in a box with cellophane front. They're not putting that on a shelf. They are having it loose. It's probably tagged or hang tagged. It's in like a cute little bin. Very different presentation approaches.
And I'll also say, if we take this down to a boutique level, because I do have some of our founders that are also talking about getting out to boutiques, again, do your research. Go to these boutiques, look at the floor space, look at the shelf space, look at how they're presenting their product. You might actually have to create a full display for your product if it is something small, right? If you're making bracelets, maybe the bracelets for that first delivery to the boutique owner, they're also getting a beautiful display,
like a
T-bar that the bracelets will sit on. And the next time, anytime they reorder, they're just replenishing that T-bar, right? They're not having to buy the fixture again, but you truly might need to think or have the ability to at least propose it as an option to help with presentation, depending on who you're talking to and what you think their footprint might look like.
And so as you narrow down, what are the types of products that are in these stores, the materials, the price points, the packaging, the positioning, you can find that niche for your own product where not only does it fit into what they would buy, but it stands out in its own right.
I love that.
So let's say it's a crossbody bag. Everybody else on the floor has straps that are not detachable. Maybe you make your straps detachable. So it like sets you apart. There's a reason someone would buy yours instead of the one next to it. That's a silly example.
But then you're also, by the way, if you do that, you're going to have a marketing call out on that.
Yeah.
You're going to make sure your hang tag calls out the differentiator. Or if you are having an item that's going in a box or a cellophane bag, think about when you walk the floors of any retailer, a Macy's, right? Any of those stores. Put your consumer hat on. How is someone going to look at a product that they've never seen before and know exactly what it does? Yours needs to show that.
Right, because like your product, your pajamas, you are at a price point where you would fit flawlessly into a Nordstrom. They already have all these soft hand feel pajamas, but they don't do what yours does.
Correct.
So you would be sure to call that out so that your product has its own little spot and reason for being.
Correct. So the marketing component of that, your packaging also needs to not only fit in their footprint, it also needs to really demonstrate why it's different, what it does, the end use, make it really easy for someone to go and want to grab that product.
And not just the consumer, but the buyer.
The buyer too.
She's going to say, or I'm assuming it's a she, they're going to say, what makes this different than what I'm already buying?
Correct.
So go in store physically, look at things. I can't tell you how many times like dimensions trip people up.
Yes.
They'll be like, this is the same as the one in store. And meanwhile, you get into store and it's dinky
Yep.
and it's you're pricing your thing at $10 because that thing says it's $10. And then you get in the store and it's $10, but it's the size of a credit card and yours is huge. So go into stores if you can, look at things in person. If you can't go into store, order it. Look at it in person. Look at how it arrives and take notes. Start an Excel chart. Who the retailer is, what the cost is, what the materials are, the country it was made in. It should always say it on the product. And then key differentiators.
And I think I'm going to go a little woo-woo here, but as you're doing this research, I think it's really fun. If you have this dream retailer that you're trying to get into, I actually will text my founders if I happen to be in a store that I see their product in. I will take a picture of the shelf and say, your future product is going to be here. And you know who I'm talking about because you got a text from me somewhat recently saying that. So print them out, like print the pictures out of the shelf of the area in which you can see your product coming to life and like put that on your bulletin board, put that on your wall.
Photoshop yourself right on into it.
I love that. Go into chat and say, take my product, add to the shelf. But truly, I think we sometimes get lost in the details and we're not visualizing and dreaming as big as we can. So I just say, as you're doing all this research, and I hope it's going to get you excited versus the other way. And if it's the other way around, then maybe it's a little bit of a time to, realign your product to make it really stand out on those shelves, right? Maybe your V1 is like, okay, you know what? It's close, but it's not enough, right? And maybe it has you make some realignment, but I hope it also excites you to go to these retailers and say, yes, my product deserves to be here.
Of course.
And that's what we're here to do, help you get there.
Of course. And I think that a lot of people brush this off and they just think, it's research, it's shopping. But truly, if you don't know where you fit, you can't price yourself properly.
I'll also say that I remember this for myself. I was scared to do the research when I found my fabric. I was like, oh shit, like someone has launched this, someone has
You
found
don't want to
it.
scratch the surface like too deep.
Yeah, I
You're
was like,
"Eek,
I
get a little
think
bit."
I got that. But they hadn't, thankfully. But even if they had, it would have given me as my therapist says, you guys all know this is information. What you choose to do with it is in your power, right?
Mhm.
So it would have been information to me that would have said, is my brand, that idea that I have, too aligned? Maybe I need to differentiate a bit more, or maybe it's something completely different and it's like, cool, good to know you're there. Thank you. I'm going to proceed forward.
Maybe it's something silly like yours has pockets. I mean, that would be enough of a differentiator in your line, but in another one, maybe it does.
Yep.
So that's the first thing is research. Where do you belong in the market? Really dig in, determine the like price points and like products that would sit next to your product.
Mhm. Okay. Let's move on to
Next.
the real deal.
The nitty gritty, the margin. Margin, and it's wildly important. And I cannot tell you how many times Jackie and I have heard that most founders think that they should keystone their product cost, which what does keystone mean, Jackie?
Well, you explain it. You'll explain it better than me.
It's just you half your MSRP.
Yep.
So if you're selling something in the market for $50, it means you sell it at wholesale at $25.
Yeah.
So you're getting a 50% margin, and the retailer's also getting a 50% margin.
I think that's like super old school boutique buying.
Old school boutique.
And even new age boutique buyers that are getting trained by the courses, because shout out Emily Benson, who runs an amazing boutique boot camp. She will tell you that is not the model for profitability, even for boutiques. Now, some still run on it as a minimum threshold, but those buyers, they really start to make their money when they can eke up over a 50% margin on their end.
Correct. So you should be selling your product to retailers. I think a 60% is the minimum.
Yeah.
I know with retailers I've worked with, like Nordstrom, Walmart, we're both about a 60. The product I've worked on with Target has been at a 75. Target wants a 75. So, going back to that like $50 example, instead of selling its Target at 25, I would be selling its Target at, what is that, $37.50?
Yeah, something around.
Something around there. And
correct.
They would be getting a 75 and I would be getting a 25% margin.
Which some of you might be thinking like, what? Like, that's not fair. How do they get that much money? Now, remember, they have buildings. They have
marketing.
They have employees. They have electricity bills they have to pay, big electricity bills they have to pay, right? So you are basically, consider that margin that you're giving away marketing dollars for you.
Yes. So you can consider it like overhead that you don't have to pay.
Correct.
Marketing you don't have to pay. But also your volume goes up, obviously.
Hopefully.
There are, 400? Are there 400 Target stores? I'm just throwing numbers around.
I actually do not know that fun fact, but I'll look it up.
But I'll just say that it's been my experience, and it's been our experience working with these stores, that about like 4,000 units per SKU per month is about normal for some of these.
Yeah.
So maybe 25,000 SKUs per half of the year.
Yeah. I mean, there is real volume when you start doing the math. Again, do your research. Go to a Target, go to a Nordstrom, look at how many units they have sitting out just on the floor.
Tell me this. What if your sourcing agent lived in your browser? Meet Axio. This is Alibaba's AI-powered sourcing engine that understands what you need. It matches you with pre-vetted suppliers. It analyzes trends. It even helps with compliance. If you want to test for a special certification or custom specs, Axio handles that. With the new Axio agent, it automates requests for quotes and follow-ups as well. Even us, the sourcing gals, we have used it to cut sourcing time from weeks to minutes. And with our code, the sourcing gals, your first month is just $1. Then $19.99 per month after that. If you're launching or scaling a product business, this tool changes the game. Try Axio with our code today.
And I'll give you a little secret for those that might be new to retail. There's an initial buy, which means what the retailer will buy to purchase and put out on the floor. And then they have things called flow or flowback or replenishment. There's a couple different names for it, and different brands buy differently, to be fair. A lot of times they will cut an initial purchase order for, hey, we want all this to come in and go right out to stores. It's called setup quantities, basically. Mm-hmm. So you might be, again,
let's talk floor set PO.
Yep. Let's talk about plush, for example. Maybe that your stuffed animal might go 4 deep on a rack and they're going to go 3 wide. So you got 12 units as your setup times the 400 doors. Well, most buyers also want to stay in stock on a new item, right? Maybe it's a flash in the pan, but typically you want to get on a replenishment program, or an ideal scenario is you get an initial purchase order, that floor set setup. And then the buyer actually at the same time will cut you 1 to 2 additional purchase orders that will sit in their DC, and they'll call it flowback. So the minute you start to sell, there's an allocation team that reviews how your in-store selling is doing, and they push more inventory out, right?
So if you're selling a bunch of units in South Florida, they're going to push units to South Florida, and they're going to kind of equal out the sales based on that backflow.
And something we've heard from a couple founders actually that have gotten in a little bit of a hiccup is, and I understand from a buyer's perspective, they want to test, they want to learn. So like, we're just going to send you an initial PO. It's on you as the founder if you want to carry extra inventory, because then if this sells, we'll cut you another PO and you can immediately ship it back to us. And for some founders, that's workable. For others, it is not.
If you have like an other avenue through which to sell them, or if you have a 3PL that can repack them for a different retailer, fine. Most people don't have that, so they'd be taking it a little slow. They might be out of stock for a while before they get back in.
Correct. So these are just good things to know when we talk about volume. It's not just about that first commitment from them. The goal is that you sell and that they're replenishing you again and again and again. And we love a reorder button. That is like my favorite button to push. It's like, yep, same thing, just make me more. Same thing, just make me more.
Yes.
Versus reinventing the wheel for every drop.
Yes. So think about the fact that if you do use that margin structure we talked about, let's even say like the 60-40. If you're giving them a 60% and you're taking a 40%, you need to be sure that your product costs and your shipping costs and your testing costs, all of your costs are accounted for in that product, so you don't walk away with nothing.
And something that I'm in the thick of now for my own product, to be honest, and working with some other founders, most of these big box retailers do not allow you to fulfill from your basement. That might sound silly, but for me, I'm still fulfilling from my house. My basement is my full-on fulfillment center. It is like a legitimate distribution center down there, right?
Yeah, it is.
But I am not allowed to fulfill to retailers in that way. I have to be set up with a verified, accredited 3PL, just packing logistics, basically. Is it 3PLs?
Third-party logistics.
Thank you. Third party. I'm like, it's not packing. Third-party logistics company. There are electronic connections called EDI. This is something that actually goes when the retailer sends you a purchase order. It's an electronic digital copy. It's not typically. Some of discount retailers, it's still old school, but most new retailers are sending you a digital purchase, an electronic purchase order that's going to transmit through this computer system, call it, in directly to your 3PL.
With SKU information, quantity information.
And you'll get a hard copy for yourself. But my point is, when you go to actually ship the vendor, to ship the company back the product, you have to be at a 3PL. And I say all this because, to tie a bow on this, a 3PL cost is very different than you doing it out of your basement. Mm-hmm. It was fine if maybe you kind of didn't round up too much on your personal labor at liftoff of your product,
people
right?
Don't always quantify their own labor, or even if you're going to UPS to buy boxes,
Correct.
You're not necessarily keeping track of that the way you should.
So for 3PLs, just real quick, you will get charged for the inbound freight. So it coming from your factory to them, they usually charge you by the pallet load. Then they will charge you to store it and put it away. Then they will charge you again to pull it out and ship it. And then some PLs do charge, some include it in the cost to actually route the goods, which is something we'll get into that whole other conversation. Maybe we'll interview our 3PL friends and have them go in detail on this. But my point is there's quite a lot of touches that go around. So it'd be good to do that research again, long before you talk to a buyer. Have a conversation with a 3PL that is ideally already shipping to that vendor of choice. I don't love being the guinea pig for a new 3PL. I like to have existing 3PLs. So look it up, do your research. They will take your calls. But my point is, those are real costs that need to go into effect when you start to really think about wholesale at a big box level.
Correct. So let's talk some actual numbers to make this real. If you have a product that's $30, you're going to sell it to Nordstrom. They're going to want about between a 60 and a 70. So let's say you sell your product to them for $10. They're getting their 66%. Out of that $10, then you have to deduct your cost, your product cost, your pick pack costs. And what's left over from that is your margin.
Correct.
So let's say your product cost $3. It costs you 50 cents to get it to you. Costs you another $1.50 pick pack or so. You're looking at $5 all in. You are making a 50% margin.
Yeah.
You're selling it for $10. You paid $5. So you get a 50%. Nordstrom is getting a 66%. That is a good scenario.
I'd say it's a pretty rich wholesale scenario. If you can be at a 50, which is awesome. Like, I would say you're in a really good green zone.
Right. When I used to sell to brands like Nordstrom and Target, we on our end would try to make about a 40. So we would be, cost $6. We'd be making $4.
And I've been at a company where we were happy with a 30 as long as it was in and out. For example, we shipped the product, we got paid for the product, right? There wasn't any returns coming back.
Mm-hmm.
There weren't discounts being taken.
Chargeback.
So you have to also, those are all questions to ask your buyer, because some retailers are more notorious for saying, oh, this wasn't great. I had to mark it down. I need you to give me some money back, basically. Mm-hmm. So all these fun nuances. But for us, we were doing some pretty high volume, and it was quite transactional, I'll say. And we were in a very profitable business at a 30% net margin. So I think it really depends on the volume. A lot of times we like to roll it up to the actual dollars too, because 50% of a very small PO versus 30% of a very large PO can have very different dollars that drop to the bottom line.
Sure. I did a order one time where it was nearly 1 million units of a piece of jewelry, and we only made, I think, 10 cents off of each piece. So we had a super low margin percentage.
Yes.
But it was 1 million units.
Yeah.
So we took it.
Correct.
One piece.
Yeah.
One style.
With probably a very trusted supplier.
Very trusted supplier.
And a client that you knew.
Yep.
A retailer that you knew. So you knew exactly what you were doing because you had little room for error.
Little room for error.
But it worked.
So that said, dollar margin can be your friend there. But so let's say your margin works. You're listening to this and you're saying, okay, all right, I think my product's great. There's a spot for it. My margin works. How do I actually get in front of these folks?
So it's a hard question, I will tell you. But there's quite a few ways you can. What do they say? I don't skin the cat. That sounds horrible, but you know what I mean.
I know people say that, and I'm always like, let's think of something else.
Maybe less graphic. A couple other ways to slice the pie. Is that a thing? I fully made that up.
There's only one way to slice a pie, really.
Yeah, you're right.
That's a limited thinking of mine.
Okay, so let's talk about one of the ways that you probably are more familiar with is trade shows, attending trade shows. So I will say that I have had positive and negative experiences with attending trade shows.
Let's back up a little bit and say, because we talk about trade shows, going to trade shows a lot.
Correct.
As sourcing people.
Yes.
But what does it look like for someone who's trying to sell their product?
Yeah. So on the buying floor, basically you have trade shows a lot. There's ones in Atlanta. There's ones in New York, Vegas Magic, Chicago.
Dallas.
So, and you can also within those trade shows, you can go and look and see what categories. There's a home and gift focus. There's an apparel focus. Sometimes they're more moderate. Sometimes they're more junior tweens. So you can kind of find your niche. But you as a brand will pay for a booth to sit on the floor and basically showcase your goods to people walking And these walkers versus being the sourcing gals, they're buyers.
Yes.
They're buyers of boutiques, depending on, again, what show you're going to. They're buyers of retail chain. There are buyers of all different
You would
kinds.
be shocked to see where some of these buyers come from. When I went to my trade shows, when I had my home decor, I would see people come by and I would always look at their name tag and they'd be from like a drugstore.
Yeah.
Or they'd be from a hospital gift shop.
Mm-hmm.
Or my mind was kind of blown, and it really was helpful thinking about the types of people coming through these events that you wouldn't even thought of on your own.
Correct. So, trade shows cost money. They are time and effort and energy. But if your goal is to be in 100 boutique stores across the country and you want one opportunity to go make that happen, probably go to Magic.
What would you say a booth costs?
Oh, it's hard. So a lot of these trade shows actually have really great deals if you're a startup, if you're first to exhibit, and if you're a brand under a certain revenue threshold. So that could be anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000.
Okay.
And then some booth fees, depending on how big you want, how elaborate. I mean, it could be $3K, $5K, $10K for the space. And then when you look around yourself, and I would suggest you go to a trade show before you host and present at a trade show, because you will see the caliber of booths. Some brands that have been around for years go way over the top, while some keep it simple. You have to think about what works for you as a brand. What kind of aesthetic do you want to send out to your buyers? And then also what can you afford, right? So it's this fun little hybrid that you have to work on.
Oh my goodness. I have something I want to share.
Yes?
Yes. Let me go get it.
Okay. She's back with a piece of art, glass art.
This will be as important for the people who aren't watching, but you should go on YouTube. So I showed my home decor brand at America's Mart in Atlanta.
That's a big deal, guys.
In 2014. And I won the Best of Show for Outstanding Visual Display.
That's amazing.
They came around and gave these awards.
That's so cool.
I was shocked. It was my first show that I showed at or went to, and which I do not
recommend.
Do not recommend. I learned so much from being there that I wish I had known prior.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of money.
Correct.
And but I did spend like so much time and attention on like the decor of the booth.
Yeah.
Obviously it's a home decor brand.
Yeah. It's gotta look the part.
Like it had like, granted this was 2014.
Do you have pictures?
You know what? I should probably put some up on our Facebook group.
Oh, that'd be fun. Put it in the founder, drop it in the founder circle.
Yeah. This was 2014. So it had gray washed wood floors.
Yeah.
And these like thin metal, actually these shelves behind us are the ones I used there.
Oh, wow.
I spray painted them gold.
Oh.
I had all my products on them, and this like farmhouse table down the middle with like all of the tabletop products on it. It was very farmhouse modern, but again, 2014.
Yeah. You were cutting edge before.
Hang in there with me.
She was cool before it was cool.
And I was shocked. I think I cried.
Oh,
I
would. Yes.
I was there by myself. I brought everything down in my Subaru.
Oh my gosh. I was just going to ask how you got it all there.
In my Subaru. And so that's why these shelves are from IKEA. And I got them because I needed to flat pack them so I could drive them down. And then I sat in my hotel room, put them together. And then I rented a U-Haul for those, like one of those $19.99.
Yes.
Like rent it for the hour. Put the stuff that I had built on a bell cart, put it in the U-Haul van, and took it to the show.
You guys meet Erin. This is how when there's a will, there's a way kind of gal.
Yeah. I'm the kind of person who will I got this farmhouse table up here in this office by myself up the stairs. It's just, I'm a very, where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
If I want it to happen, it will 100% happen.
Yeah. That's so amazing.
Anyway, so thank you for going down that, memory lane with me. But all that to say that your booth should inspire people to step in and look at your product.
Correct.
Maybe that's your product bringing them in. Maybe it's your decor. Maybe it's you as a person.
Yeah, that's one thing I was going to say. A lot of, when you get to a certain point, people can start outsourcing who works their booth. If you have a head of sales, that's great. Awesome. But I will tell you, as in a new and emerging brand, I have once sent my marketing gal to go in my stead. And unfortunately, people want to meet the founder. They want to meet the face behind the brand. They want to hear your story, and right, no one can tell it like you can tell it. For me, actually, the big flop was that my wonderful marketing manager is, 25 years old, and I'm selling a menopause pajama brand, and the women were like, "What do you know about menopause?" I was like, "Okay, yeah, kind of missed the mark there."
Yeah.
But anyways. So it's all of that, but trade shows are a way to do it. They are an investment. Highly suggest you go to it before, scope it out, really make sure these are your buyers. This is where you want to go. And then you also need to be set up on a platform. And thankfully, there is an amazing platform called Faire, Faire, that is out there. You can be set up as an e-commerce site and never attend a trade show and just publicly post your Faire page, and boutiques will find you and order from you. You can also, if you don't do the trade show, you can do reach outs. Literally email reach outs, phone call reach outs, super old school. There's also AI technology, I've been told, new platforms that will do wholesale reach outs automatically for you. So again, if boutique buying is what you want, there's a lot of options here. We can even talk to a specialist about that in a future episode. But there are definitely some trade shows, Expo West, different things that are also more big box retail brand focus. So you just have to do your research if that's something you want to do. But let's say you don't want to go to a trade show. You're like, I don't want to do that. I think I could just get to the buyer, right? I do believe you can network your way to a lot of that.
You can.
But I think if you are not part of the industry, it's going to be hard.
Very hard.
Right? Like I
am part of the industry, and it's still a little hard if you don't have a person to make a connection for you that knows someone who knows someone.
I will tell you that there are some amazing retail networks out there, though, that you can and should look into if this is what your future looks like. Actually, Erin and I will do a podcast from here, but we're going to an amazing event next, literally in a week, almost a week from now. Women in Retail Leadership. It's called Whirl. It is literally where all the buyers go to hang and chill and have fun together and learn about leadership with each other and network together, authentic connections. And that's just, it's a great one, but that's one of many. But there are a lot of retail federations out there and networks out there. So if this is a space you're dipping your toe into, I would look into finding a network that resonates with your product category, and you will find mentors there. You will find friends there, people to walk beside you on your product journey, and you might just find your buyer there.
Right.
Just saying.
Right. Or you might find the buyers at the shows if you're walking around.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, keep an eye on those tags if you go back to your trade show.
Meet people at the events where they have little cocktails and dinners and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Get involved. That's what I mean.
Yep. So I think, again, finding the buyer sometimes can be easy, sometimes can be a little more challenging. I will say that it's something that, to do a little selfish plug here, Sourcing Gals, we started with working with a bunch of founders really focusing on their product. That was step one, right? Developing their product. And also within that, all the things that come before developing a product, which if you listen to our podcast, all the steps we're talking about, right? And so we've realized, though, that Erin and I do have network connections, really strong ones, something we've always known. We've always fostered those relationships, but we're actually having success making these connections and linking these founders to these retailers. I mean, we just signed, have we said this yet? We talked about a deal?
I don't know if we talked about that.
I mean, okay, if we said this once, we're just going to say it again because I think it deserves to be.
I did send the countersigned document back last night.
You did. Yesterday was a big day yesterday I felt like there must have been a full moon. I had so much crazy shit happen yesterday.
Is today the 15th?
Is it the abundance?
Tomorrow is new moon in Aries. So it really is like a fiery new moon. Go out and get it.
Okay, well, there was some getting happening yesterday. Let me tell you on a multiple fronts. And not that kind of getting. People, get your head out of the trash. And if you were, have at it. But truly, yesterday we signed the final countersigned document of we just inked a royalty deal with one of our founders and one of the biggest accessory distributors for Walmart, Target, Five Below, and TJ Maxx.
Yes.
We popped some champagne.
We did pop some champagne.
We screamed, all the good things. But needless to say that we now, and you'll hear more about this as we continue along our journey, but, we're really trying to not just help founders with their product. We want those products to be on the shelves. That is where the real future, the real money and potential and exposure lies still in a lot of these brands. So it's just exciting to know that, again, connections that we've made, relationships that we've formed, people are coming out of the woodworks to help us form
And
and
are
make.
they? Like they are so coming, people are coming full circle who I haven't talked to in years. What are you guys up to? What are you doing? Who are you representing? And it's been wonderful because, and I don't say this lightly, like it truly breaks my heart when somebody has a fabulous idea, a great product, and like it, no go to market strategy, like no way to sell it. If there's no use putting all of your energy behind producing something if you can't sell it.
Yeah. And a lot of us, like myself, went in thinking, oh, e-commerce is so easy. And then I'm like, well, a little more challenging. And some people, again,
Super
have
challenging.
a better knack for it than others, for sure. Myself not being my forte, but working through it. But like I said, I mean, we're, Piper's pivoting to retail right now, and it's really exciting. We're having a lot of exciting conversations, and, it's what I know. Right? It's what I know. It's the connections I have. It's what I can do for other founders. So I'm excited to do it for my own brand. But
Sure. And we don't talk about it so much here because we do focus so much on getting somebody's idea made.
correct.
That's a big piece of the pie. Like I don't want to dismiss that. And there are a lot of other podcasts and stuff that talk about sales. But we truly wanted to bring it here today on this episode because how you start when it comes to developing your product, what you can pay for it, what your pricing looks like, that impacts your go-to-market strategy, your ability to be in retail so much that like I am willing to just like hedge any bet on someone who I have gone through their development and their costing. If there are other podcasts I listen to that are about the marketing and the sales aspect of a product-based business, which are lovely, but a lot of the ones I listen to are like, your product's just too expensive. And I'm like, but they can't also help the people do anything about that. So that like breaks my heart because then what are you going to do? You have to start over at square one.
Which we've done with a couple founders.
We've done with a couple people. So we're coming here today to tell you, do it before you get to that point. Do the market research. Make sure your margins are healthy. Then you can go find that buyer.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Now you have done your research, attended the trade show, or found the buyer email, and you're ready for the pitch. So here are the nuggets that you want to bring to that buyer, right? They are going to be jumping with excitement in their chair if you are able to provide them a rich margin.
Yes.
Buyers and merchants want to be the heroes. You can make them the hero with a really great product cost.
They want a differentiated product that sells, and they want a great price.
So if you can come to them with that pitch saying, guess what? I've thought you've done your research. This is what the product could look like on your shelf. Here's the packaging to make it work. Here's the pricing to let you have a really rich sell through on this, right? Like all these different factors, like come to them with that research fully thought out and vetted through the lens of the retailer that they work for. Talk their talk. Talk how they talk to you as a consumer. That all of a sudden is going to put your deck, your pitch, your product so much further ahead than all the other ones. They are literally getting fed product ideas every day, y'all. Like every day. I mean, my old buyer at Big Lots, bless her heart. I mean, during COVID, when all of the product went to her house, I remember I'd stop by to drop samples off and I'm like, whoa. She's like, yep. All the new products from my vendors trying to pitch me things, so you have to stand out. You're not a one-off pitching. That you're part of their daily routine. So you need to make sure your product stands out. Try to get their address. Try to send them some samples. Make sure when that sample gets there, that packaging looks beautiful. Like go above and beyond for these buyers and let them know that you're in it and you're committed, and tell them your story. They want to hear your story. These are humans on the other side of the screen. They know that messaging, storytelling sells. So tell them all of that in a nice, tightly wrapped email.
That's wonderful. I'm going to finish with a real life story we just talked about our deal that we made with a major big boxes. The product itself is very differentiated in a market that has not seen differentiation in a while. Jackie and I ran all the numbers. we made sure that buyer was getting above the margin they wanted on a product that's new in the marketplace, that's disruptive. It was a immediate yes from him.
Mm-hmm.
He looked at it and was just like, yeah, where do I sign?
Exactly.
Because differentiation, great price.
He did not have to think about the margin at all. It was a clear win. Clear win. Great. I'll take it.
And we were just kind of like, oh, is that all? But not that everything's going to be that easy, but make it as easy as you can on them.
Yeah. Make it, again, let them be the hero. Like that is like a resonating mantra that we would say at my old company is like, let that buyer be the hero, bring them the best product at the best price, and let them be when they're up in that Monday sales meeting in front of their CEO and saying what had 100% sell through, which means like what sold out to the piece. It's like this did. And by the way, like we made better margin than anything else, right? Like let them have their hero moment with your product.
I think that's a great thing to end on.
So to wrap this up, buyers aren't just looking for ideas. They're looking for ideas and products that can sell, that fit their brand, that fit their demographic, that are at a great price point.
Yeah. And if you hit all of those, then you should be in. What do they say? In like Flynn? I don't know what that means.
I don't know. It's from a movie, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't watch a lot of those. So there you go.
So I want to also say for any product founders out there that have already launched, that are thinking and listening to this and saying, wait a minute, like, I think I could use their help. Again, selfish plug here, but really, this is what we're trying to do. We are trying to take launch founders from zero up, or even existing founders that are in it and proving the model, but maybe they're just not there yet.
Mm-hmm.
They need their sourcing, they need their supply chain remanufactured. They need to help get into big box retail. Like, shoot us a message. Like, we will talk to you. We have intake forms for this that we're building out, a whole process here. So this is our future of sourcing gals, is to help get more product-based founders to retail. Mm-hmm. And we're here to do that. And we want to hear your great ideas. We want to help launch them. They deserve to be in the market.
Absolutely. So I think that's where it ends for today. If you're in the founder circle, you will see that picture of my booth.
Oh, I love it. I can't wait.
I'll have to see if I had an iPhone camera back then.
We have speaking real quick, sorry, Founder Circle. If you guys haven't heard of this, we have a private Facebook community. It is amazing. We've celebrated a lot of wins recently.
Yeah.
One of our founders last night just landed a $10,000 pitch competition.
Yes.
It will fund her either my opening order or all my testing. She's in the baby space, so it's a lot of compliance and testing. But either way, game changer. And so we all were celebrating her. We took a pic and dropped it in there last night. We also had, again, signed a big deal with this royalty deal. We were all celebrating that as well. There's also some other exciting wins that I'm going to drop in today that you'll have to just stay tuned and listen and wait for. But yeah, it's a really fun place to celebrate, to network, to ideate, to vent. It's all the things. We do a monthly live call with all the founders on the calls. So if it's something you're interested in, check it out on our website, www.thesourcinggals.com. Click on Founder Circle. It's a great community that we're building and growing every day.
That's great. Lovely plug. And until next time on
The Sourcing Gals.